Alrighty, welcome to I Feel Fat Today. I'm your host, Kelly Taylor. It's another Friday. Thank you so much for joining me. This week's episode is going to be an audio only solo episode. As you can hear from the sound of my voice or lack thereof, I am recovering. I'm in that stage of sickness where I don't have a voice. And really, the only thing that's ailing me is just like the constant stuffiness. My nose is like raw, and I could not get a camera in my face. And to be honest, I truly didn't even want to put out an episode. And I went back and forth in my head. I'm like, well, this is a free thing, but you did say you wanted to be consistent. And the only true consistency is having the episode out every Friday. So I am recording an episode. Will it be an hour long? Will it be 20 minutes long? It probably will be somewhere in between. So it's just going to be me on the mic. I probably actually will have some visuals up on the screen as I go through some of what we're going to discuss. So if you want to, have it, put this on YouTube just to see that, by all means. But outside of that, we're just doing audio. All right. If you want to email me, if you're looking for some advice, you can send me an email at ifeelfattoday.com. If you want to just send me some kind words, someone did that, which was like really, really nice. Or if you want to send me some advice, send me some topics that you would like some advice on, I'm more than happy to read it on air and give you my advice. And this week's email, the email that I got for us this week, I feel I am very much able to speak on this. So let's get into it. Subject line, seeking wedding advice. Dear Kelly, I'm Tracy. I'm reaching out for advice on a situation that has recently come into my life. I've been honored with the role of being a bridesmaid in my friend's wedding this summer. I'm genuinely excited to be a part of her day, but I'm having a lot of anxiety surrounding the bridesmaid's dress. The fit of the dress doesn't align well with my body, and I experienced a difficult time during the fitting process. Unfortunately, all of the sample sizes were too small, making it a bit disheartening. I'd love to hear your thoughts on handling being a bridesmaid when the dress doesn't flatter your body. Thank you for considering my message, and I look forward to maybe hearing your advice on an upcoming episode. I feel fat always. Tracy. You're funny, Tracy. I like that. I feel fat always. Okay. A few things here. I want to make sure I don't lose track of any of my thoughts here because a lot came in all at once when I was reading this. So the first thing to remember, I would say number one, the thing that I want to say up top as someone who has been a bridesmaid and someone who is the maid of honor in a few weddings coming up, and bridesmaids in weddings coming up, is that the number one person is the bride. And I think some people do have a tough time hearing that, and like that's just a tough pill for some people to swallow, that like the bride is of the utmost importance. And the reason why I say I think some people have a tough time hearing that and swallowing that pill is because I used to be one of those people, and to a degree can still be, because like, some things can get a little bit ridiculous. But especially when the bride is within reason, you really want to do what the bride wants and needs. And because you're friends with this person and you're a reasonable person, chances are the bride is also a reasonable person. So just have that at the forefront of your mind when you're going through these different anxieties and the, bridesmaids dress selection process. She chose you to be a group of 5 or a group of 20 or a group of 3, whatever the case may be, depending on the size of the bridal party. She chose you to be a part of the day because you guys are friends. And it really doesn't matter what you look like, because if it did matter, then she wouldn't have chosen you based on how you look. And that obviously is not the kind of friend that she is to you. So that's the first thing. The second thing I want to touch on is the point that you made about having a difficult time during the fitting process. The one thing I wish I knew going into the fitting process is that none of the dresses were even going to get past, my diaphragm. Like all of the bridesmaids dresses, when you go into a fitting, are a sample size that if you are even remotely plus, it's not fitting you. They're not even able to clamp you in. There is no way for you to get a sense or a feel of how the dress is going to look on you. You said you had a hard time. I don't know your size, so I don't know, what you went through. I can say personally, when I went to a friend's dress fitting for when I was a bridesmaid, I really wish I had known that like I wasn't even going to be able to like get it over my head and like get a sense of what it looks like, because it just, never mind not zipping, like it just, these dresses were not working. And it then really made me turn on myself in the moment. And I know that the bride felt bad about that. And then I felt bad that she felt bad, because that's literally your one job as a bridesmaid, is to like not let the bride know about drama going on in the group or you being upset about something, again, within reason. So don't feel bad or like you're not supposed to be a bridesmaid because you had this disheartening time during the fitting process. And if you're somebody that's listening that's never been a bridesmaid, or you're going to be a bridesmaid, just know that like you might go into a fitting situation where the dresses do not work for you. That doesn't mean that just because the samples don't work for you, I should say, doesn't mean that they don't have the dress in your size. And they're always going to order the dress at the size of your largest measurement. So it's like, all of a sudden you're ordering a dress that's like a size 26 and you're like, okay, I'm going to go get myself gastric bypass surgery because I'm going to have a mental breakdown. Like I want to jump off the roof of this 34th Street building, So just, bridal situations are very, 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 very easy for you to be triggered, especially for somebody that struggles with body image. The third thing is, I don't know how big the bridal party is, and I don't know what anybody looks like in the bridal party, and I don't need to know. All I know is that I would say 4 out of the 5 bridesmaids, let's say there's 5 of them, 4 out of the 5 of them, no matter how they look, are going to feel like they don't look good in the dress and that the dress doesn't work well for their body. I think it's also like we kind of play into this notion that like bridesmaids dresses are supposed to be ugly. So like by default, we kind of like always think that a bridesmaid's dress is ugly. Just because like that's just, the story that's out there. And so just know that everyone else is feeling negatively about the dress as well for their own reasons. And it has nothing to do with the bride's style. It has nothing to do with the aesthetic that the bride has chosen for the wedding. It's literally just the story that we tell ourselves, is that this dress, this silk satin chiffon, does not look good on my rolls. So that's the other thing. Okay, I think fourth thing. I've lost count at this point. Now we go into you being in the actual dress. Know that whatever dress your bride goes for, you are going to get that dress tailored. Go to someone that you trust and go in the shapewear that you would wear the day of the wedding, okay? And when you go, that way when the dress is being tailored to your body type, it's going to be tailored with the shapewear that you have, that you're going to be wearing the day of. And that's the other thing. If you were considering not wearing shapewear, wear shapewear. Like, I think that somewhere in, actually, I'm not going to say, I don't know what I was going to say something that was totally off base and not true. But shapewear is your best friend. Is it a miracle worker? No. But from a confidence level, it can totally help you. Like I will wear shapewear all day, even in like the lounging part of the day when it comes to getting ready for a wedding, because it makes me feel most comfortable to be like secure and like in this like essentially suit of armor. um, and so when you're at the tailor, don't treat the tailor like the doctor's office where you just kind of go in and don't ask any questions. I mean, you should be asking questions at the doctor's office, but I'm using that as an example. Like go in and like ask questions, see if there's something that can be done. If like, if you are concerned about like the chest and you're not liking how busty it is, you can put a thing of mesh in there. Something that I don't think I realized is that the amount of customization that you really can do to a bridesmaid's dress, I would say again within reason, like if you are going to be adding sleeves to a bridesmaid's dress, I would maybe get that approved first with the bride, just so that, her wedding day doesn't roll around and all of a sudden like your dress looks completely different. She can be made aware. I just wish I had known. Like, I look back at my one friend's wedding and there's so much I wish I could have redone, but it was the first time I was ever a bridesmaid, so I didn't know that I could have taken that dress to the tailor and gotten thicker straps. I think that would have made me feel more comfortable, or gotten the bust tailored to look a little bit differently so that it was a little bit closer to my chest. And, the day of the wedding, it was fine. The dress looked great. Okay, the dress looked good. I won't say the dress looked great. I looked good in the dress, okay? But just know that you have options, and just talk to your bridesmaid. Like, just talk to your bride and say, look, girl, this is a mental hurdle I'm trying to get over right now. And I just want to bounce these ideas off of you. This is your day. This is what, I'm going to do at the end of the day, whatever you want to do. But I also want you to know how I feel. And it doesn't have to be combative. It shouldn't be combative at all, actually. This is your friend. This is somebody that has asked you to be in their wedding. And so you should be able to communicate with them as a friend. Now, let's just say, hypothetically speaking, that this is a friend that is like, I don't want to hear shit about, you not liking the dress or this, that, and the third. This is the dress, and if you don't like it, then you don't have to be in it. You don't have to be in the wedding. Everybody take a collective deep breath. This is not what we're talking about. Maybe your friend is a little bit of a hothead. Come back down to earth. Don't fight fire with fire. Just bring them back down to earth and say, hey, girl, that's not what I was saying. I was just giving you my feelings on the dress, and that I was wondering if you would be open to just some other options so that, my back isn't out as much, or like I add maybe some length to the dress. Whatever the case may be, there is always, always, always a solution there. And I feel like I had one other thing I wanted to say about this, and I'm not remembering it. Everyone else is probably feeling as anxious as you are about the dress. Know that nobody on the actual wedding day is looking at you. They're all focusing on the bride. Like, you're literally there as a support to the bride. And just know that if your friend who's the bride, if they got a good photographer that knows what you're doing, you're going to look good in the photos. Like, I remember my stomach and my arms being like two huge things that I was like terrified about with the wedding. And I know that bitch was a master at Photoshop. Like, I know she helped me out. So if, your people are hiring the right people around you, it's not going to matter. Not that I'm for photoshopping photos, but you know what I mean. Like, I think your wedding day, you can have like revisionist history there. But yeah, I hope that was helpful. Thanks for writing in. It definitely was a good topic. I have plenty to speak on there. Let me know how it goes. Send a photo of you in the dress. I'm dying to see it. Okay. Some housekeeping. Follow us on Instagram. I Feel Fat Today. Follow me, your host, on Instagram. Hello, this is Kelly. You can go to our YouTube where we usually have full video episodes, unlike this one. But just give me a break, It's free and I'm not feeling well. Full video episodes there at I Feel Fat Today on YouTube, where you can subscribe. Please subscribe to the podcast. It's all I have. It's the only measure of success that I have, that people are listening. I mean, besides people sending in. Besides people sending in their emails. Oh my God, excuse me. Okay. Go over to Apple Podcasts, where you can listen there and leave us a 5-star review. And I'll take your review and I will highlight it on the I Feel Fat Today Instagram, and I will blur out your name. So you can write all that you want and I will not put you on blast. Okay. Alrighty. I am fighting off this cold. It has not gone away, and it's because every time I start to feel even remotely better, I get right back into my life and it pushes me back a few steps. And so that's truly why I'm going on almost 2 weeks and I am still not better. Because for me, I give myself a week when I'm sick. I'm like, okay. And a week is even like pushing it. But finally, I was sick over Martin Luther King Jr. weekend. And I was like, just sleeping for days on end. And then finally I'm like, well, I got things to do. I got places to be. I'm like testing negative for the flu, for COVID. And so I'm like, all right, like I got stuff to do. So I think it was Saturday night. My friends and I went to the Box, which was cool. If you don't know, the Box is like this club in New York City. Well, the original is in London, but the Box is this club where it starts at like 11 p.m., which, why? I mean, I kind of loved it because I'm a night owl, and I also hadn't been out in like a week, and so I was so excited to be out. And there's a show that also happens. And so, the show was, I don't want to like you're not allowed to like take photos or really have your phone out at all. Like this one girl, told me that she took her phone out and like took a video or took a photo of something that was happening. And the security guard went over to her and told her to take out her phone and delete whatever she had taken. So they're like serious there. But the Box is like this like crazy, I guess, sex show. I honestly was expecting more sex. We left at like 3:30, 4 o'clock, probably like 3:30, closer to 3:30. And there was still a little bit more show left. And so maybe it got a little bit like progressively crazier. But for the most part, it was a lot of like, topless dancers, and like there was some performance art as well. Penises kind of flying everywhere and fisting assholes. But the thing that was exciting, I guess is the word for the Box, is that you have to like dress up. You have to like look cool to get in. And so, over here at I Feel Fat Today, that's like an important topic. That's usually something that takes up most of the space in my brain anyways. So I was nervous/excited because it really forced me out of my comfort zone. Like I went online and I bought a mini skirt. Like now I'm the owner of a mini skirt, 2 mini skirts actually. And so like I was like so nervous about wearing a mini skirt, and I was like, just wear tights with it. Just wear tights and like you'll feel normal. And I totally did. I totally felt normal. And I wore this like black mesh shirt with this like black corset on top. And I think I definitely went a little bit more camp when it came to the dress code. Like I truly think I could have just worn like a black dress, but then I felt too like business cash. Like I don't know. I feel like all of a sudden I'd be like layering up and wearing boots with like a sensibly long dress on. And I didn't want to do that. Like I wanted to wear an outfit to the box. And I felt cool. And there was definitely a moment where this is before we even got to the box. This is like when we were at the bar beforehand where I felt like I was like in this exclusive feeling bar. Not that it was exclusive at all, but I literally had to tell myself like there's nothing else you can do besides wear this confidently. And that's what I did. And guess what? I took some banging ass photos from that night, and here some of them are up on the screen. I'll include those there. All right. So that was the box. Okay, I'm fading. I am fading. So we're going to read one article that I have here, and then we're going to call it a night. Hold on. I just need to blow my nose. Okay. So this is from today.com, and this is something that I had found back in November that I had meant to read, but then, kind of got away from me. And so when I was sitting around here thinking about what I wanted to record with on today's podcast, I thought this is perfect. So we'll read this little article from today. A new magazine photo of Emily Ratajkowski is being called fat phobic. Here's why. Okay, this is by Dia Hoxha. Emily Ratajkowski's new photo shoot has been met with backlash and accusations of fat phobia from numerous social media users. Earlier this week, the 32-year-old model posted on Instagram a series of photos from a spread in a magazine affiliated with the French newspaper Le Monde. In most of the photos, she's wearing baggy jeans, but one image in particular stood out to her followers. In the photo, M. Rada, as she is affectionately known for, stands in a pair of light wash jeans, several, if not more, sizes too large for her. She also extends the jeans waistband, highlighting the space in the pant that she doesn't fill. The second image in the Instagram carousel is the only one featuring her in this particular pair. So here's a photo up on the screen of it if you're just listening. It's literally like a photo of jeans that, let's be real, probably I would wear. Probably maybe bigger than what I would wear, but like these jeans that it looks like if she wanted to, she could just put both of her legs in the one pant. But for the stylization of the photo, she's not. But you could fit two of her in these pants. Two M Radas in some light wash jeans. Like two bees in a pod. Get it for bitches. Instagram users were quick to question the satirical choice in the comments on Ratajkowski's post. What in the fat phobic hell is the second photo? One person wrote, adding the clown emoji. Fat phobic vibes? Someone else asked. Not sure how you think wearing oversized jeans made for a much larger person and accentuating your smallness promotes healthy body image like you preach in your books/social media. Shame on you, another person wrote. What's the point of the big pants? To show how skinny you are, another person commented. Ratajkowski's team declined today.com's request for comment. Gianluca Russo, author of The Power of Plus and expert on the size-inclusive fashion movement, tells today.com via email that he normally takes backlash with a grain of salt. But in this case, he believes the comments around the photo are warranted, as is a larger conversation. This photo will likely be very triggering to someone dealing with the terrible impacts of weight stigma, as it so clearly mimics triggering weight loss ads, he says. The photo of Emily is praising her thinness, and the usage of a very large pair of pants puts even more emphasis on the smallness of her body. Some Instagram users saw the photo as an opportunity to call out how difficult it can be to find fashionable clothing for bigger bodies. Plus size model Tess Holliday joked, "I've been looking for those jeans in the second photo. If you could please return them, that would be cool. Thank you so much." That's funny. Another person added, "Designers won't make plus unless it's for a photo op where a thin person can be quirky." Another criticism of the photo tied to Ratajkowski's 2021 book, My Body, a collection of essays about feminism, sexuality, and taking ownership over her body. Writing a book called My Body, a book about body empowerment and loving yourself, and then posing for the second pic is crazy, one commenter pointed out. That second picture, do you need to read your own book? Like, it's so tasteless, someone else commented. Russo also thinks the photo shoot was a missed opportunity. This could have been an editorial that discussed the importance of plus sizes, especially given Emily's book on body image, but rather it furthered a fat-phobic image type that we've all become too familiar with, he explains. M Magazine also faced backlash for the artistic choices behind the photo shoot. The magazine did not immediately respond to Today.com's request for comment. Please explain how having a model hold up a pair of pants that are too large for her to wear in the extreme is fashion. Oversized clothes are one thing, but this photo with the jeans that are too big is something else. Tell us the vision. What is the story you're trying to tell? One person asks. This is extremely insensitive, untasteful, and wrong on so many levels. No one thinks this is a good idea. How did this get past PR teams? Another person wrote. Fire the art director. Fat phobia doesn't look good on you, someone else commented. Russo agrees that the photo shows that, quote, people in fashion, both in front and behind the cameras, are still uneducated about size inclusivity. Even further, it shows that many of them do not care about the importance here, he adds. Okay, so I'm going to be honest. Initially, my very first initial thoughts when I was reading this article and going through the comments that people were leaving, I thought, okay, let's relax, crybabies. Like, we don't need to take everything so seriously. It's just a photo, blah, 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 blah. And I think part of me is, maybe it's the comic part of me that always needs to be a contrarian. Like, I always want to go against what the majority is thinking about a certain thing. And maybe that's just my default. But I will say that as I continued reading on, and as the person that they were talking to, that Russo character, the Power of Plus, talking about how Emrata has a book about body empowerment called My Body. That is sort of where I started, like, the tide started turning a little bit in my mind of like, oh, okay, so this is a bitch that isn't practicing what she preaches. And I think that if we did live in a world where like fat people and skinny people were treated alike, this wouldn't be a photo that's like a hot button photo. And that's the problem. Isn't that really the crux of the whole thing? Is like, well, maybe if fat people and skinny people and people of all races and genders and could be treated alike, then we could have art that everybody can appreciate and not be triggered by. And I did really like how people were commenting. Like, it said that Tess Holliday joked like, oh, I've been looking for those jeans. Could you please return them? That would be cool. Because that's like a real life person from the Emrata world. Because despite what naysayers will say, Tess Holliday is a model. She is kind of calling out a colleague in a way to be like, hey, you know, you're wearing these jeans. You're not wearing these jeans at all. Like, you're trying to almost show that like you're looking a bit disheveled, or this is like a before and after photo, but there never was a before person. So yeah, I mean, I thought that was interesting. And I also thought my reaction to this was interesting because I mulled over it for a good while and did fall on the side of, yeah, this is just somebody that doesn't realize they're being triggering, and the photo's just not that interesting. It's not that creative. It feels like a first draft idea, and it was the thing that went to print, you know? So maybe that's the larger issue, isn't it? Guys, I could talk for forever. I have other stuff to go over, but I just can't do it. Like, the more I talk, the more like nasally I get, and I think I need to put this to bed. I need to put a pin in it. Next week we will be back with a guest. Hopefully I'll have my voice back by the time that comes about, or that's recorded rather. Yeah. And I'll talk to you then. I guess I'll talk to you next Friday. Have a great weekend. Bye.